Let's get physical, it's Jordan here, back again with this week's update on all the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch, the 12th of May until the 16th. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is probably going to be the big one for many of you this week. This is releasing in North America, but Europe, as per usual, is feeling very unloved by Capcom. Big shame they're missing out on such an awesome release like this one. This is a collection of 8 arcade titles from Capcom's arcade glory days. This includes some big hits like Capcom vs SNK 2, but also some lesser known titles like Plasma Sword. I like the fact it's starting to include some 3D games as well, which are often overlooked for ports, but we get classics like Project Justice, Power Stone 1 and 2. I am still recovering from the fact that these are based on the arcade releases, not the home ports, which had a lot more content, and not being able to use the item shop in Power Stone 2 feels like it took a massive chunk out of what made the game so special, but maybe I'm in a minority there. And my executive producers, Dave Horwath, Super Ben Julio, Ishin, Ethan Blue, Lewis K, Instacritic, Jeddah Crow, they've chosen this as their pick of the week. As I said, it is not releasing in Europe, but if you want it, or you want any of the retail games in this video, please consider purchasing via the links in the description and pinned comment. That massively helps support me and this series to keep producing physical content for you guys. VGP are a great company with cheap prices in favourable Canadian buckage and free worldwide shipping on orders over 80 Canadian bucks, which is less than 60 American dollars. Plus, each week, if you buy something, you are put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is, I don't know yet, since most of the VGP staff have been on vacation last week, so I didn't bother them, but I will let you know the winner next week, so we'll have 2 winners next week, okay? The Cub looks to be only releasing physically in Europe this week. Apparently this is gunning for some retro-style platforming inspired by the Disney 16-bit games specifically, hopefully not including the soul-crushing difficulty. There is a parkour feeling to this one that doesn't have much room for error. You always seem to be on the run, dodging stuff, getting chased, getting into a rhythm. It's short, but it is coming in a budget-priced physical release that also has some extras to make it worth it. You get a cover sleeve, an art book, and a downloadable soundtrack. And my executive producers, Kevin W., Danielle O., they've chosen this as their pick of the week. Neon Blood is finally releasing in North America after being out in Europe for a good while now. It came out late last year, but it looks badass, and I think they decided to add a North American physical to proceedings just because of demand. I don't think the game, when it eventually released, lived up to its potential and hype, but it still looks good. And most of the criticism at launch were the lack of polish and bugs, so one would hope all of those are maybe fixed by now. In North America, it is only getting a standard edition on Switch and PlayStation 5. Neon Apex Beyond the Limit looks to be only getting a physical release in Europe. There has been no word of a North American physical release. This looks like a pretty cool futuristic arcade racer. The game is not out yet, so we don't know what the consensus is, but I'm very open-minded about giving it a shot. It's very colorful, cel-shaded, looks like a game that could have been on the Dreamcast, but in a good way. Boost, drift, dodge your way through traffic to be number 1. I'm going to see if I can get a review copy and give it a go myself, tell you all about it. And my executive producers, Alexander Cato, Wixit, they've chosen this as their pick of the week. TIEBREAK Plus, official game of the ATP and WTA Ace Edition. It's a very long-winded, boring title, but it looks to be releasing in Europe this week. I have not seen anything about a North American physical release. This is a tennis game that promises the best simulation of the sport ever. Press X to doubt. I'm not sure anything could ever surpass Virtua Tennis 2 on the Dreamcast, but hey, maybe it's a decent rendition of the sport. The only way they can balls up a tennis game is via a lack of content. There needs to be something to keep you going. I wouldn't mind giving it a go just to see myself. And my executive producer, D's Nuts, has chosen this as his pick of the week. New balls, please. Alright, let's jump into the limited, low print releases. You know what I'm talking about. Bullet Hell Collection Volume 2 is Red Art Games' latest Switch release, with pre-orders opening right now on their website. This is a collection of 3 shooters, nothing that I would get overly excited about. 3 games that look like prime eShop fodder before all the shovelware started flooding in. I love shooters, I love collections, but this is not really doing anything for me whatsoever. Anyways, as per usual, Red Art Games will have the standard edition of this at retail, but exclusive to their website is the deluxe edition, which is the same price but limited to just 500 copies and includes extra goodies, a cover sleeve, a poster, and a keychain. And if you want that deluxe edition, you can do so via the link in the description and pinned comment, and you can get 10% off it with my code Jordan10. This is only a European release, no North American one. And my executive producer, Radio to Rancid, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Astrea 6-Sided Oracles is Super Rare's latest Switch release, with just 3,000 copies being made available on Thursday. It's another one I'm surprised about, since this is also getting a physical release in Asia, so they've done it again. It's the second time in the past 3 releases they've done it, but this time there's not a massive difference in price, and this will probably be the rarer one in the future, that's for sure. This is a deck-building roguelike, with a side helping of dice rolling, so of course there's no interest from me, but it is highly rated by the community that loves these sort of games. It has that strange mix of being both pleasing on the eyes, while also inducing sensory overload. If you want it, be there on Thursday, superraregames.com. And my executive producers, Ghost Bune, Cookie Kid, they've chosen this as their pick of the week. Tales of the Shire. Now this will definitely be at retail, in fact you can pre-order it from VGP right now, but I Am 8-Bit have an exclusive edition on their website available to pre-order right now. It includes a rather snazzy looking cover sleeve, like it looks really nice, alongside a map poster as well as a digital soundtrack. I have to admit, I am a fan of the Lord of the Rings trilogy movies, however, seeing the gameplay and visuals for this, it's not really doing much for me, but I think cozy game fans will be ready to get even more snuggly with this one. I don't know, what is your opinion on this game? Do you like it? And my executive producers, Sora Cat, Dave Huswaite, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Tomb Raider Collection Remastered 4, 5, and 6. I don't know the official title, but it's up for pre-order right now at Limited Run Games. Yes, finally, after a long wait since the digital release, we are getting the second trilogy of games in the old school Tomb Raider era. I know some people may be shocked and disgusted that Limited Run have gotten their hands on this, but I suspect it will be just like the last one, where it will come to retail once Limited Run have gotten, the higher profit pre-orders on their website. What I can safely say is that the collector's edition they have will probably stay exclusive to their website. I have been eagerly awaiting this one, but I'll be sure to wait to buy it when it's at retail, whenever that may be. Probably not very long. And my executive producers, Azrath, Punky Dooster, Issa, Robotech, Thorn Metal Luna, Switch Effect, have chosen this as their pick of the week. Gex Trilogy is Limited Run's other game this week, and we've been waiting for this one for quite a while. The Gex games, on the whole, they're not great, but I appreciate the effort to bring them back. This includes the 3 main console releases. Sadly, it's missing the 2 Game Boy games, which I don't feel would have been too much extra effort to stick them on here as well. But yeah, you get a decent side-scrolling platformer and 2 serviceable 3D platformers. I actually played the 3rd game a little bit recently on my Nintendo 64, and it was what I would describe as a video game, kind of. Obviously partnering with Square Enix, who own the franchise, they're limited running to milk it. There are a couple of editions available, including one for $200, and it includes a blow-up doll. And my executive producers, Jennifer M, Cartoon Soren, Jake Vav, Surfacing for Air, chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, let's jump into the imports section. Yes, the games mentioned from now on, you can pre-order from Play Asia via the links below, and you can also get 5% off with my code Jordan2025, and of course, if you're new here, please do subscribe. The bigger this channel is, the more publishers will pay attention to the demand for physical media. So do your bit, do the industry a favor, subscribe here, and we may get more proper physicals in the future. If this channel's bigger, they will want to make more physicals. Alright, Yasha, Legends of the Demon Blade is releasing this week in Japan and Asia, and it will have English, so you can play it nice and early compared to the Western physical, which is arriving in July. I'll be sure to talk more about it in more detail then, but if you're interested in a cool looking action game, top-down fighting with multiple characters and stories, then it's probably going to be one to look into. And I think the limited collector's edition is much better for the Japanese version compared to the Western one. Just a quick comparison, the West has an art book, downloadable soundtrack, poster and postcards, as though anyone cares about those, whereas the Japanese one has an art book, downloadable soundtrack, but also has Hanafuda playing cards and a letter opener, which is like a Sakura sword or something like that. It's badass, and it's not that much more expensive than the Western one, so I would go for that personally, okay? And my executive producers, Adamantium, the Nemo 6, and my man in Japan, Vei, have chosen this as their pick of the week. In Japan, they are also getting Mizuchi, which released in Asian regions already. It's still an import exclusive. Same with Everdream Valley, which released in Asian regions quite a while back. But yeah, they're also getting these 3 games. The West has one already, in English of course, and the other 2 do not have English as far as I know. Alright, let's jump into the community spotlight. Executive producer Switch Effects sent in this photo of Alien Isolation looking pretty badass. I'm still working super slowly on my Aliens video game retrospective for my other channel, but I'm looking forward to giving this one a go when I get to it, and I will be playing the Switch version. Executive producer Surfacing for Air picked up Ogu. Sadly, I couldn't get my hands on a review copy to see about it myself, but just looking at the cover art makes me happy. A little albino platypus with a bug-catching net. Executive producer Super Ben Julio sent in this photo with a haul, mostly from Limited Run, 2 racing games included. I am considering racing games as my next long video, but I still haven't decided what the proper topic will be. Give me some ideas. Stefan sent in this photo with a triple helping of Castlevania collections. Makes me wonder if there is another collection planned, maybe for the 3D games. Something tells me that would be too much effort, but I played the Nintendo 64 game, like the first one, a few weeks back, and despite AVGN telling me it's awful, I was having a great time playing it. Stefan N, yes, a different Stefan, but same spelling, sent in this classy photo of volumes 3 and 4 of the Neo Geo collections. 5 and 6 were just announced. I am very happy. In particular, 6 looks really awesome, even though 5 has my most requested game on it. Skip to the End. Don't skip to the end, that's their name. Sent in these 2 games, although I think the sticker is on the wrong game. Surely never should have a sticker saying from the makers of Gris. Gris is the famous older one. It'd be like having a Blu-ray re-release of, I don't know, Empire Strikes Back saying from the makers of The Phantom Menace. It just doesn't make sense. And that's not a diss on Never, okay, maybe it was a bad example. Executive producer Radio to Rancid sent in this photo including those games 1 and 2, which I cannot believe is getting a retail release in the West later this year. Axis Games, I applaud you, but you've lost your minds. Pab sent in this photo with a Garfield double pack. Again, someone suggested to me to do a video about more compilations that just aren't retro, just like standard compilations of games. Would you be interested in that topic? I'm not sure. Nintendo Gamer Gal sent in this photo with I Chew. It may have a name that sounds like an electric mouse sneezing, but I had a decent enough time with it as a riveting game. Executive producer Lewis K sent in this photo getting in 2 games from Limited Run. I think Momodora is a much requested game physically, so it's nice to see them get it out. Executive producer Kevin W sent in this photo with progress orders. I am super curious as to why that RPG is so cheap. There must be a major catch. Kevin the Time Geek sent in this photo with 8-Bit Adventures 2, which I've heard is really great as a game, but if they were to hire me as a marketing consultant, I would slap them in the face with a fish for giving it such a generic name. They wouldn't even need to pay me, I just get pleasure from the fish alone. JB in my knot sent in this photo. Lawnmower Simulator, I genuinely can't believe that is actually a thing. Never mind the fact that it got a physical release. Is it more than just a meme? Executive producer Instacritic sent in this photo. I think GS2 and Microids are in competition for title of worst art style for shovelware releases. Who's winning this war? Executive producer Ghost Bune sent in this photo. I believe I read that Hookah Haze, the collector's edition, comes with the game outside of the actual collector's box. Seems like they either ran out of time or miscalculated the space needed in the box, or maybe it's just an oversight. I don't know. Executive producer Feig sent in this photo. The more I hear about the 100 line, the more I want to play it. Twitter knows this and keeps feeding me posts about it. Executive producer Dave Hallworth sent in this photo. That Story of Seasons release never actually released physically in North America, which is strange. Maybe it's a licensing thing with Doraemon, but I think it's worth getting from Europe or Southeast Asia if you can. Executive producer Cartoon Soren sent in this photo with the Japanese edition of Life is Strange True Colors, which has the full game on the cartridge, unlike the Western physical, which has a mandatory download, so Japan is better. Yes, there is a patch for the game, but it's not needed. Andrew R sent in this photo picking up a few games from In Games. I wonder if it's from their website. Like, if you don't know, their website, you can actually support me as well, by the way, and you can get 5% off anything from their website with my code Paradise. Just go to iningames.com, add something to your cart, and then add the code Paradise. You get 5% off. Executive producer Adamantium sent in this photo, including the collector's edition of Three Houses. Seems like a blast from the past. Rarely do we see these older collector's editions pop up, since they tend to become like too expensive for people after they've sold out. I don't know what the price of this is, but I can't imagine it's cheap. Alright, let's have a roundup. Burning Kitsune Mask, Ashura G, JRM, Kresalak, Needless Dragon, Remy X, Dead Bunny's YouTube, Bridget F, Devil Angel, Lindsay S, Butter Boulder, Bent S, Domi, Clara S, Choco Loco James. Alright, you can send me your photos with the details on the screen right now. As always, special thanks to my executive producers, Dane Wilkinson, God of Resin, Brent McLean, Alexander Cato, JCrod7776, Punkidusa, Cartoon Soren, Robotech, Raven Knight, Thorn Metal Luna, Issa, Vey, Offo, Instacritic, Precision Plague, Alex M, Feig, Josh Foot, Ishin, Lewis K, Kevin W, Jennifer M, Super Ben Julio, Double Dave, Hustwaite and Hallworth, Wixit, Sora Cat, The Nemo 6, Ghost Bune, G Bautista 100, Rose, Adamantium, Azrath, Jake Vav, Ethan Blue, D's Nuts, Jeddah Crow, Brotorius, Surfacing for Air, Justin PDC, Vast Neon, Cookie Kid, Radio to Rancid, Danielle O, and The Switch Effect. If you want to join them, the Patreon link is down below. It's the Let's Get Physical producer role. If you watched all the way through, what an absolute legend you are, and I want to know who you are, okay? So please leave me a tennis emoji in the comments in honor of TIEBREAK Plus, official game of the ATP and WTA Ace Edition. Just for that snazzy, snappy name alone. Leave me something tennis related in the comments, okay? Have a fantastic day. Take care.